Hey everybody! In this month's Hero Arts video, I'm just going to show you some really fun things that you can do with ink. So you can do this with any ink that you have. This is this month's amazing Hero Arts kit. It's sort of a super modern kind of geometric kit with a bunch of little critters, like a fish, a bunny, a cat, a fox, some little trees, all kinds of fun stuff. And there's also this awesome stencil out this month. So I'm going to combine these things to make just a fun card that's really focused on inks. Now, I am a child of the 80s, and so I brought my neon inks today. I do love all things neon. I love how glowy these inks are. And I also have some Hero Hues inks. So I will tape my card front to the back of the stencil and do a little bit of ink blending to sort of create an aquatic background for the little fish in the kit. So I'll speed this up just a little bit. I'm going to do an ink combination of the Splash and Pool Party reactive inks. I won't be adding water, but I love the way that these ink blend. I think that they're so smooth and perfect. I just love them. Now, if you take a piece of Post-it tape and you stick the sticky side to your fingers, that's a great way to hold down your stencil and make sure that you can blend cleanly without getting fingerprints or without transferring ink from your finger to your card. That's a little trick that I learned from My Sweet Petunia, and I've used it ever since. You can also do that with a Post-it note. Anything that will stick to your fingers, you can use to hold your stencil or paper down so that you don't get anything extra that you don't want onto your cardstock. So I've flipped the stencil so that it's going in the opposite direction. And this sort of stencil pattern layering is so easy to do, and stencils are such an economical tool that this is one of kind of my go-tos. But I thought that flipping these two and crossing them over would make it look like waves kind of behind my little fish, which are going to be my focal point. So I've wiped off my stencil, and now I'm going to take my favorite Hero Arts color, which is indigo, and very, very lightly fill in all of the white space. I don't really want white cardstock on this finished card. And then I'm going to create edges for the card that make it look like light is coming down through the water onto my little fish. So I will leave part of the top of this kind of open, like as if sunlight were filtering down through water. And then I will make it very dark on the sides and the bottom. And I think this just kind of gives it a feeling of motion that I really like with the stencil and the ink blending. So that is kind of a beautiful ocean background. It's hard to go wrong with 3 colors of blue. I'm just saying, really hard to go wrong. Once that is all finished, I will take my little fish image. I love that these are silhouette images. I love anything that's super bold and modern. That's kind of my jam, and it gives me an opportunity to do an inking technique. So I will put a card front into my Mini Misty and set myself up with a few of these geometric little fish. Now I want to do sort of an ombre technique with this little fish, and that's very easy to do in the Misty. So you'll pick your first color. I picked the orange, the neon orange. I love that color. And you can see I had my magnet a little bit too close, so I wasn't able to press the lid down, but that's really the beauty of the Misty is I can correct mistakes like that. Make sure I press in the right place. I don't have anything sort of resisting me, and get that inking completely perfect. I love solid images for this reason. So if you have an ink that you just love the color of, like I love the neons, this is a great way to sort of show them off. So to do the ombre ink, you have a couple of choices. You can completely ink the first color. So I'm doing that here with the orange, and then add a second color after cleaning your stamp. Or if you want to, you can use the technique that I'm going to use for the second color and just ink part of the image. It's completely up to you, and it will change the outcome. So I'm taking the neon pink here and inking up just part of the fish for my ombre. Then, to avoid fingerprints in my final work, I have put on a glove and I'm just dabbing the edge of the pink ink. I've done this enough times just with my bare finger that I know that it sort of looks like a crime scene if I just leave my fingerprints in there, and this gives a smoother blend. You can also use a Q-tip or a number of other tools to sort of soften that edge, but for me it's easiest just to do it with the tools that are built into the end of my hand, which is my fingers. So I just put a glove on and that really smooths that ink out. So for the second fish, I will do the opposite ombre. So where this fish has the neon pink on the head part of the fish, I will do it this time on the tail, just for a little bit of variation. The super clean geometric shapes on these fish are so appealing to me. I just love this. And the entire release actually this month has this fun geometric feel to it. So if you like that sort of clean line design, and even some Scandinavian design elements that are in the kit, I think you will really enjoy this. It's very fun, modern, clean design that I just love. So here I'm inking up the back end of the fish instead of the head, and then softening that line just a little bit with my gloved hand. And you can see my left hand is not my dominant hand, so I completely got ink all over my MISTI, which is fine. No big deal. But that way it looks like a little, what was that candy that was half orange, half red? There was some kind of lollipop when I was a child. It was like a sweet and sour lollipop that was like half orange and half hot pink or red. That's what this reminds me of. So I'll just shift the cardstock up a little bit to do the third one, and that way you never have to take your stamp off of your MISTI. And I'll do the same thing, just ink this little guy up in the neon orange ink and get that stamp down. This is such a fun ink combination. All the neon inks, I mean, I can't play favorites because I like them all. But the orange and the pink are just so harmonious to me. I just love that combination. I do stamp them a few times, especially if you have the magnet over there sort of interfering with the height that your lid is going down to touch with the cardstock. So you can just sort of adapt to that. So this time I'll just be adding the pink again on the front, just like I did on the first fish, and then softening that harsh line so that it really looks like blend. This is one of my favorite things to do with silhouette images. Just make sure that you don't touch anything else after you have blended that ink with your gloved hand. I did do some accents with white and black pens, and you can see all the details and be entered for a giveaway over on my blog today. So head over there, and thanks so much for watching.